The new development about Nnamdi Kanu's case is that the court has bowed down to pressure and remove Binta Nyako permanently and replacing her with a new judge that is going to look into this case from the beginning and, handle it entirely. But before that, it all started when Nnamdi Kanu wrote a letter to the Chief Justice through his legal counsel, Ejimako. And after that, day before yesterday, I reported that Nnamdi Kanu still filed 2 suits seeking to transfer the case from Abuja to the Southeast, since they said that they don't see any judge that will handle it again, apart from Binta Nyako. So if it is only Binta Nyako that will handle it, no other judge to handle his case, they should transfer it to the Southeast. And also, he is seeking 100 billion, damages against the federal government. And I think these are the major 2 suits instituted in Federal High Court. So I think it's a good development that Binta Nyako has been removed permanently, because that is the reason why Nnamdi Kanu was raising the question that Binta Nyako, I asked her to recuse herself, of which she did. What is the purpose? Why the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court still returned the file back to Binta Nyako? And in the year 2019, if I'm not mistaken, Nnamdi Kanu made a broadcast. He also exposed the reason why they said Binta Nyako should handle his case. Because Binta Nyako, her husband and her child, they had case with the federal government, whether case of EFCC and so on and so forth. So the thing has been lingering. Now, look at your screen. You can see the letter that Ejimako wrote to the Chief Judge before, Chief Justice of Nigeria, I mean to say, and also the reply. Now, Ejimako posted this thing in 4 hours ago, and this is what he said. Press release, 8 March 2025. Subject, Nnamdi Kanu case finally reassigned to another judge. And it reads that yesterday, before the legal team conducted our routine visitation to Nnamdi Kanu, we received 2 separate official letters regarding his case. The letters are momentous and somewhat parodic. One letter was from the Honorable Chief Justice of Nigeria, responding to a recent letter we had written to her, seeking her prompt administrative intervention as the administrative head of Nigeria Judiciary on the matter of a proper and lawful reassignment of Nnamdi Kanu's case following the recusal of the judge that was conducting it. The other letter was from the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, informing us that the case has been reassigned to another judge of the Federal High Court. Consequent upon these latest developments, Nnamdi Kanu instructed the legal team to publicly convey his sincere gratitude to the Chief Justice of Nigeria for her sound administrative discretion and the dispatch with which she responded to our request. He also expressed his profound appreciation to members of the general public who publicly expressed their support to our righteous demand that Nnamdi Kanu's case be reassigned to another judge, as the law demands. To be sure, Nnamdi Kanu has always been ready to take his trial because he is firmly convinced of his innocence. But the perverse events of the past 6 months, from September 2024, when the recusal happened, posed potent dangers to his constitutional rights, particularly his right to fair and speedy hearing. It was in view of these untoward developments that we were prepared to resort to taking extraordinary measure to ensure that his case is properly reassigned and conducted in accordance with the law. So now that the first step have been taken by the authorities to do with the lawful thing, Nnamdi Kanu and his legal team shall take stock and hunker down to the zealous preparation of his case. Signed, Aloy Ejimako Esquire, from Nnamdi Kanu legal team. Yeah, that was what Aloy Ejimako, posted about 4 hours ago. Now, let us focus on this issue. The latest video I published about Nnamdi Kanu's trial, that was late in the evening yesterday, I told you people that Nnamdi Kanu is not afraid of trial. If you see someone who is afraid of trial, you will know that, oh, this person is afraid of trial. His conduct, his boldness, his agility, the way he speaks in the court, you will know that this one is no-go area. You can't intimidate him. You can't intimidate him. Now, I'm not saying that the change of judge will translate that the judge is going to do well, okay? Because it is still from the federal government, right? But I think the judge that took this case must have seen the whole drama that has happened in the court before. So let us look forward to seeing what is going to be unfolding. Now, Ando Ejimako did not tell us the name of the judge. I think it's whether it's against their, I don't know whether it's against their ethics, so that you don't have right to tell the public the name of the judge of a person. I don't know about that. But the name of the judge is not yet known. I'm going to make more inquiry to make sure I find out who the judge is. It's very important we know. And apart from that, everybody will be happy. First of all, even as the case continues, we know that yes, this case might take some months to even up to 1 year again. But what we are saying is that Nnamdi Kanu should not be going to his case from the DSS detention. It's not right based on the Supreme Court judgment. Okay, so that people will not say, oh, Kocha, you are biased, what are you? Based on the Supreme Court judgment, Nnamdi Kanu is supposed not to be in the DSS detention, going to court from there. No, he ought to have been bailed, go to his house, prepare for judgment, and start coming to judgment there. Even though it's okay, bail him and let him remain there in Abuja in his house. No problem. The man is not afraid of anything. Even as he is in DSS detention, he's not being weakened. His spirit is not down because of that. So this is the situation that is going on. Kanu is a kind of person who have been telling the government to respect the rule of law. If you see someone that the government is trying, someone who is going to court and telling you to respect the rule of law, that is to say that the person is not afraid of the trial. The person is not afraid of, everything. And before we continue, there is this man that, breaks down what really transpired, because there are a lot of questions, complications surrounding Nnamdi Kanu's trial. Now, people are saying, what about Supreme Court judgment that have faulted the federal government from the beginning to the end? What really transpired? Why is it that people are not even talking about that? Why is it that the lower court, ordinary federal high court, is disobeying Supreme Court because of Nnamdi Kanu? Anyway, Dan Ondase explains that better. So stay with us. Before we go into the details, we have a guest in the house as well. Let us listen to Dan Ondase, what he explained about the judgment so far about Nnamdi Kanu case and the injustice that the federal government are carrying out against Nnamdi Kanu. Stay with us.
So, if anybody, when Nigerian citizens see the details of the Supreme Court statement today, they will marvel at how, after saying all these illegalities that the federal government and their security agencies committed, all they had to do was that the primary court said, the appeal court said that the primary court had no jurisdiction. So they condemned the appeal court for taking that decision. Therefore, because the primary court had jurisdiction, the case should go back to them. So if in all these atrocities they committed, they had killed Nnamdi Kanu, what would be the basis of the primary court and its jurisdiction? What would be the basis of it? When I studied, I talked about judicial rascality. So what it empowers is security rascality. Because you cannot tell other police, army, navy, air force, condemn them plainly, and then you exonerate them. So you give them license to kill Nigerians, just like they are doing in Plateau, killing people. They are doing in Benue. Herdsmen are killing people. But you haven't had any person in this country condemn the herdsmen of Nigeria for killing hundreds of thousands of Nigerians. You haven't had them condemn the killings in southern Kaduna. So the security agencies are being encouraged to recklessness. And recklessness is not about spoken word. Recklessness with gun, killing Nigerian citizens. So if anybody, when Nigerian citizens see the details of the Supreme Court statement today, they will marvel at how, after saying all these illegalities that the federal government and their security agencies committed, all they had to do was that the primary court said, the appeal court said that the primary court had no jurisdiction. So they condemned the appeal court for taking that decision. Therefore, because the primary court had jurisdiction, the case should go back to them. So if in all these atrocities they committed, they had killed Nnamdi Kanu, what will be the basis of the primary court and its jurisdiction? What will be the basis of it? And look at the whole panel, about 7 judges, not one Igbo man, not one person from the southeast, not one person from the south. So it's a contrived business to put that boy, to put him behind bar. And we have been asking that they should turn him to Kuje prison. They refuse. Why wouldn't they allow him to go to Kuje prison? Why keep him at the DSS? Why? So it shows you that Nigeria is not interested in fighting insecurity. Because if they were interested and they love this country, they would have seen that Nnamdi Kanu is a major instrument that will bring security. Southeast will be a beginning. The other parts of the country would have been a follow-up. So it's unfortunate that you condemn security forces for the crimes they commit and you exonerate them by keeping Nnamdi Kanu there and asking that we go back again, to start case from, Federal High Court Abuja. What actually is the sin of Nnamdi Kanu? Asking for justice for everybody. That's what he's saying. That the Southeast has been completely, excommunicated from everything that happens in this country. So we pray that this young man, I don't know whether you have had the privilege to speak with him, one of the most brilliant young men you can ever come across. Not only is he brilliant, but well spoken. Why this one shows you that we have no values. Can you imagine a boy that a whole zone respects? A whole zone respects him. Who else, apart from M.I. Opara in those days and Dr. Nnamdi Kanu, they don't have as much respect as this young man. That would have been an advantage for Tinubu and his government with the National Security Advisor to say, look, how do we seriously start to curb this insecurity in the country? If this boy is so loved by his people, why don't we sit him down and discuss with him, know where he's coming from? If there are things he's agitating against we can solve, we start doing something. And look at Northwest and Northeast. Look at where the country is today. Everywhere is war, killing people. Killing is no more, it's an admirable, concept in Nigeria now. Any day nobody is killed, you don't hear it, then it's abnormal. But in a normal day, hundreds killed in herdsmen in Plateau Plateau, in southern Kaduna, in the southeast, then not to talk of the bandits and Boko Haram in northeast and northwest. That one is a daily occurrence, killing hundreds of them. We're a country without statistics. If we have good statistics, people will riot to know the number of Nigerians who are dying. Every town now, in all parts of the country, people are burying people. People go to bed, they won't wake up. So it's all cumulative effect of total insecurity. Probably you do work somewhere, nobody pays you. You are working for somebody, you are not paid. You go to bed, you are thinking of what you will tell your wife in the morning. You can't pay school fees. The man goes to bed and won't wake up. And will say, God, please take my life. Why am I living? When a man cannot take care of his immediate family, what life is it anymore? And you don't want people to react. Young men leave school, no work. And they see somebody who rigged an election and goes to Abuja and he buys a armored plated jeep for 160 million and he wants him to go and sleep. His parents sell their property to train our young men and women, and they come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They can't say good morning, thank you to their parents. They will look at their parents without any hope of tomorrow. Parents who have trained their children, we should have hope that their children should get back to take care of them. But it's not the case in Nigeria. And we don't have our legislators are not interested. The executive all over the place are not interested. So I don't know how this problem will be sorted out. I normally find it very difficult to discuss a profession that I'm not one. But common sense also tells you that you can reason. If somebody is talking, you can reason. But it's painful because some patriotic peoples, I saw 1 or 2 senators there who left everything they were doing to come to the Supreme Court with some hope. Because if you listen to the judgment of the appeal court, it was fundamentally very literate, accommodating on every aspect of it. So people were very hopeful that the appeal court would uphold the judgment of the Court of Appeal. The Supreme Court will uphold the judgment of the Court of Appeal, and that would have been a case done for. But unfortunately, because if you were in the Supreme Court, like I was, we were there as early as 8:30 in the morning. And when he started running this judgment. On every aspect of that case, he condemned it. The Supreme Court condemned the federal government of Nigeria. In fact, they used the word illegality not less than 20 times. The killing of people at Nnamdi Kanu's father's compound, they even named the number of people killed, the rendition from Kenya, how he was kidnapped. I mean, it was difficult to believe that after condemning the security services for unauthorized and unorthodox behavior, kidnapping Nigerians and killing people anyhow, I have never seen a court with that kind of finality in terms of condemning public officers who were working for government, telling them, you don't take the laws into your hands, only to finally, because they said they disagreed with the appeal court that the lower court had no jurisdiction. It was the basis of what they are doing, that they should now go back to that court because it has jurisdiction to hear the case in the first place. That's just a matter of it. So if Nnamdi Kanu dies, after all this illegality, what case are they going to hear? This boy has been under detention for how many years now? Even the Supreme Court was asking all these questions too. The illegality that has been meted against him, and yet they say we'll go back again to the federal high courts, where we then will start begging for bail. Even condemned the government, that court, for revoking his bail. That was the exact statement of the Supreme Court. So you don't even know the basis of their final decision. So when people say that there is a judicial rascality in this country, you cannot but agree with those people, because unless it affects you, you won't appreciate why they said so. Because when you at the whole Supreme Court, everybody bent his face down. All lawyers were so astonished. To talk of embarrassment is an understatement. But in all cases, as a Christian, we give glory to God.